Have you ever wondered what makes a brand, truly iconic? The kind that lasts for generations? Well, I can tell you, it's a lot more than just a cool logo. Today, we're going to dive into the work of David Aaker, a guy whose ideas totally changed the game when it comes to branding.
So let's start with a really basic question. What even is a brand? Is it just the name on a box? A logo you recognize? A catchy jingle you can't get out of your head? I mean, it's easy to think so, but that's really just scratching the surface.
I absolutely love this quote. It just nails it, doesn't it? A brand is that magic something. It's the layer of trust, of meaning, of recognition that turns a simple commodity, an orange, into something you know and you specifically choose. It turns an orange into a Sunkist.
And that idea is so important. But here's the catch. If we think about a brand too narrowly, just as a logo or a feature, we can fall into some really common and, frankly, very costly mistakes.
David Aaker actually identified 4 of these common mistakes. He called them brand traps, and they're basically these little sinkholes that can stop a brand from ever really reaching its full potential.
So here they are, the 4 big ones. You've got the brand image trap, the brand position trap, the external perspective trap, and the product attribute fixation trap. Now, what's interesting is that they all come from the same root problem, looking at your brand in just one dimension. Let's break them down.
Okay, first up, the brand image trap. This is what happens when you let your customers completely drive the bus. You're so focused on what people think you are right now that you forget to have a vision for what you want to become. You're just reacting, not leading.
Next, there's the brand position trap. This is a classic. It's when you take this huge, complex, amazing idea of a brand and you shrink it all the way down to just a tagline. Look, a great tagline is awesome, but it's just the tip of the iceberg. It's not the whole iceberg.
The external perspective trap. Oh, this is a big one. This is when you forget that your brand has to mean something to your own people first, right? I mean, if your employees don't believe in the brand, if they don't know what it stands for, how on earth are they supposed to deliver that promise to your customers?
And finally, the trap that Aaker says is the most common of all, the product attribute fixation trap. This is that endless race to the bottom, believing that customers only care about a checklist of features. It locks you into this constant battle over who has more megapixels or better specs, and you completely miss the emotional connection that actually drives loyalty.
So, if those are the traps, how do you stay out of them? Well, this is where Aaker's work gets really brilliant. He gives us a solution, his brand identity model. It's a much bigger, much more strategic way to think about what your brand really is.
And the real power of this model is how it's structured. Instead of just having one narrow focus, it makes you look at your brand's identity through 4 completely different but connected lenses. And when you do that, you build something way deeper and way more powerful.
Okay, so first up is brand as product. This is probably the one you'd expect, right? This is the nuts and bolts. The quality, the features, what it does, who it's for. It's the foundation of everything.
But then, it gets more interesting. We have brand as organization. This looks past the what and asks about the who. Who is the company behind the product? What are its values? Is it innovative? Is it all about customer care? This stuff can be a huge reason why people choose you.
Third, there's brand as person. I love this one. If your brand walked into a party, what would its personality be? Would it be the fun, exciting one? The dependable, trustworthy friend? The sophisticated, elegant one? This defines the character of your brand and the relationship you build with people.
And finally, we have brand as symbol. Think about the Nike swoosh or the Apple logo. A powerful symbol, whether it's an image, a metaphor, even a sound, can tie everything together and make a brand instantly recognizable. It's like a mental shortcut straight to who you are.
Now, this all sounds great in theory, but what does it look like in the real world? Well, I don't think there's a better case study than the story of the Saturn car company. It was, seriously, one of the most incredible brand-building stories of its time.
And here's the key thing. The people who started Saturn got this from day one. Their CEO said it right there. It wasn't just a car. It was a cultural revolution. They knew they weren't just competing on horsepower and fuel economy. They were launching a philosophy, a different kind of company.
And you could see this in everything they did, especially their ads. They weren't showing cars speeding down a mountain road. No, they were showing the people who built the cars in their Tennessee factory. And later, they created these huge homecoming events where thousands of owners would literally drive back to the factory to celebrate. So, if we map Saturn onto Aaker's model, it just fits perfectly. As a product, yeah, it was a good, reliable car with a money-back guarantee. As an organization, it was famously a different kind of company. As a person, it was that honest, down-to-earth friend. And as a symbol, the no-haggle pricing in those homecoming events became these powerful, tangible signs of what Saturn was all about.
And that story, the Saturn story, it brings us to the final and maybe the most important piece of the puzzle from Aaker's work, this idea of finding your brand's unshakable core.
Aaker has this great way of visualizing it. He calls it the artichoke model, which is kind of perfect, right? You have the outer leaves, the extended identity. Those are things that can change and adopt over time. But as you peel those away, you get to the center, the core identity. That's the part that is timeless.
Your core identity is your non-negotiable truth. For Saturn, it was that combination of a quality car and a relationship built on respect. For another brand, it might be safety, or maybe pure joy. It's the one thing that has to stay constant, no matter how much your products or your market changes. It is, quite literally, the soul of your brand.
So in the end, building a great brand isn't really about having the slickest logo or the longest list of features. It's about avoiding those common traps and being really intentional about building a rich, four-dimensional identity. And it all starts by asking yourself that one simple but incredibly powerful question. What is the soul of your brand?